this video we're going to talk about canonical tags, and these are really the murkier end of the muddy waters of canonicalisation, to which this video is part of a series of. In this series of videos we've mentioned canonical tags quite a bit, and in most cases canonical tags are the solution to a lot of potential canonical duplication issues, or at least part of the solution. So we're going to talk a little bit more about canonical tags and how to implement them and the kind of common mistakes that you find. So firstly, it's worth noting that canonical tags are incredibly important. They're a very powerful component of a page, and an incorrectly configured canonical tag can result in more issues than not implementing them at all. So firstly, every page of your site should have a canonical tag, and that should be configured correctly. There should only be one canonical tag on any page, and the canonical tag sits within the head section of the source code of any particular page. The most common types of problem that we see with canonical tags result from an incorrect URL. Now these can be split into two types, or canonical tags in general can be split into two types. The first is a self-referential canonical tag, and that's where a page is referencing itself as the canonical or preferred version of the content. The second type of canonical tag refers to another page as the canonical or preferred version of the content. And this is really the purpose of the canonical tag, is to determine where the canonical or preferred version of the content exists on the internet. Now with the first example of a self-referential tag, the typical mistakes that we see here are technical sort of canonical configuration problems, such as not using HTTPS when the site uses HTTPS, or including a www or a trailing slash when the site forces the opposite to be used. So you have to be aware of the redirects that are in place on the site and the way that the accessibility of the site is currently handled. Incorrectly configuring canonical tags in such a way as to include incorrect components of the URL means that you essentially create a kind of duplicate content issue that didn't exist before the tag, especially if these are being handled with redirects, and we get onto this at a later stage. Now with canonical tags that are referencing another page, you just need to ensure that is the correct page. Now whether it's referencing itself or another page, there are three things to remember. The canonical link should only link to a page that is indexable, crawlable, and is a canonical page itself. So by indexable we mean that it's not got a no index tag on it. By crawlable we mean that it's not excluded with a disallow from the robots.txt file. And by canonical we mean that it has a self-referential canonical tag on it. Now if all of these things are true, then the canonical link in the URL is fine. But if any of these things are not true, then you have a problem. So examples of this include linking to pages that redirect to other pages. This could be a standard 301 redirect where you've moved a page legitimately to a new place, but you haven't updated the canonical tag. Or it could be some kind of accessibility handling component where you're forcing the www to be removed from the URL, and the canonical link element still includes it. Hence the canonical link is pointing to a page that essentially redirects to another URL. Or you could have a canonical tag that links to a page that's broken or returns any kind of status error, server error or otherwise. Now in the case of a broken link in the canonical tag, you're just losing the authority. Canonical link elements pass authority through to the destination page, and when you're passing it through to a broken page, that authority is then lost. Now if you're passing it on to a non-canonical page that is either redirecting or canonicalizing to another page, then a piece of authority is lost with each step in that process. A link only passes on a certain percentage of the authority. So every link that the authority has to pass through, you lose a greater amount of it before it gets to its destination. Now with non-indexable and non-crawlable pages, you've got the same type of problem as with a 404 or a 500 error page, where essentially it's a dead end for the authority. The page doesn't need any authority if it's not indexable or it's not crawlable, or if it's not canonical. But in those cases, that page authority is typically going to be lost or completely squandered. Now, given the amount of time that's taken into acquiring authority through link building endeavors, it's really worth optimizing the distribution of your authority throughout your site properly both with your internal linking structure and with your canonical linking tags. Now there are some examples where you have different or duplicate versions of content on a site, but you don't want to handle that with a canonical tag, or not necessarily exclusively with one. Such as with pagination, where you use the rel next and prev tags, or with mobile sites where you might have to use the rel alternate tag, or with multilingual and multi-regional sites which use the hreflang attribute to control and determine the sort of canonicalization of the site across all of its different languages and regions. Now in some cases you can use canonical tags with other types of tags, but we cover these in the specific examples where they're used in other videos. So that's all for canonical tags. If you enjoyed this video, then like and subscribe, check out some of our other videos, or check out our website at raptor-dmt.com. Thanks for watching.